My name is Dara, and this is Dear Hallmark. We are in the thick of Countdown to Christmas on Hallmark Channel, but we're going to be talking about a Miracles of Christmas movie today. And those are the lineup of movies that you can watch on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And as you can see, I am not by myself today, you guys. The guest that we have in the home of Dear Hallmark, all I have to say is, listen, my children, and you shall hear of a Hallmark actor we all hold dear. And his name is Benjamin Ayres. You guys, Benjamin Ayres is in the building. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. I always love chatting with you, and I thought I'd bring the book that our movie is based off and have it here so we can all
Yes.
take a good look at it and support Joan Kilby, who wrote this book. She's written many, but this is her first one that's been turned into a movie, and it's a Christmas movie, and it's
I
the one
love
Taylor and I
that.
are doing this year. And
I
I'm
love
happy to
that.
be here chatting with you, Dara.
Thank you, sir. So last time you were here, I hadn't watched Falling for Vermont, and I just want to say I have since then, and I thoroughly
Nice.
enjoyed it. It was like the
Yeah.
perfect, cozy autumn movie that I needed, and I just wanted to say thank you. So that takes care of that. But also the last time you were here, you were promoting another Hallmark Movies and Mysteries movie that you were in, which was Color My World with Love. And
Correct.
that was in June, and now it's November. Like, how are you feeling after the reception to that movie? Like, how did that make you feel?
I was so proud of that film and just so happy to be involved with it and so happy for Lily and David in particular. And was, it was a real honor that Hallmark then decided to also air it on their main network.
Yeah.
And they aired it, I think it was October 14th or something like that, which was pretty cool. And they reached out to us and to let us know. They don't do that often where they'll take a movie from one of the other networks and put it on. So
Yeah.
I loved being involved in it. Some of my greatest friends in the world were involved with it with me, so just the whole process was great.
It
How
looked
are you today? How are you doing today? You good?
how am I'm doing well.
Yeah,
I'm doing really
yeah.
well. I'm thriving in the cold. The cold is where I thrive, so I'm so grateful that summer has
Okay,
passed us.
what's the temperature there now? What are we
We're
at?
we're talking like 60s mid, like low 60s, mid 60s, so like perfect blazer weather,
Yes,
you know?
we're talking high 50s, low 60s here right
Ooh,
now. Sun is out, the leaves are falling. It's like my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year.
the foliage is do like it seems that much more. I don't even know, vibrant, if that's the word for it this year. Something, the foliage, every time I drive or ride on the train, I'm literally captivated by the foliage this year. It is gorgeous. It is so
Yes,
gorgeous.
it is gorgeous. Do you guys get do you get the do you get some Halloween trick or treaters? Did you get
Um,
some of that?
I don't think so. Not where I live in the city. Look at me sounding like a Hallmark person in the city. Not
You
not
need to go to a small town and find yourself a little bookstore. And
yes. No, but it didn't do much as it pertained to Halloween for that. I know a lot of people celebrated it over the weekend because there's not a lot of
right,
like families in my neighborhood where I live. So how about
right.
yourself? Did you do anything?
Oh yeah, it's a very big day here. And
Yeah.
I got two young ones. And okay, so quick little aside here.
Yeah.
When I went to Vancouver to shoot a series Family Law,
Yeah.
and that was I left at the end of June. And the day we left, my wife and I, Erin, we dropped our daughters off for camp for 2 weeks. They're going away for 2 weeks. So I then came back and I got on a plane that day and I flew to Vancouver to start the series. And Erin got on a plane and flew to Mexico with friends, and she was gone for a week. She's like, great. Kids are taken care of for 2 weeks. She's going on a trip. I'm now off shooting the series. 2 days later, I get a phone call from the camp and they said, you need to come pick up Isadora, your eldest. I was like, what's going on? She's like, she has COVID. I was like,
Oh no.
I'm in Vancouver. They're like, okay, so just get your wife to do it. I was like, she's in Mexico. So we had to do this whole thing where my brother-in-law came to stay here at the house, and one of the counselors had to drive her down, and she kind of had free reign of screen time. She's 10 years old for about 5 days before my wife came back, and she watched all of Stranger Things. And if you know anything about that show, if you've watched it, it is intense. I'm catching up to her now, so we can talk about it. But it was a real Stranger Things vibe in our house, and for her, and she's dressed as the characters, and I kind of did as well. And our we went out. It started to rain at some point, and then we tucked back inside. We just watched Stranger Things while the young one ran around with her friends and kept collecting candy. So that was our Halloween, and that was a long story as to why I'm letting my 10-year-old watch Stranger Things, which I know a lot of people are like, wait, what? She shouldn't be watching that. I'm like, I know. She just willed herself to get COVID, and next thing I know, she's home watching it.
I haven't watched it. I don't have Netflix, so I haven't watched it yet, but I know there's a big, like, it's a big deal. It's a big
Well,
deal.
why it's amazing because it's just 80s nostalgia. It's
Okay.
just wonderful 80s nostalgia. It's Goonies meets ET, meets Aliens, like it just keeps each season kind of grows in where it's pulling its themes from and shows and Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. So it's big and fun and yeah. Anyway, so that's
I
that that
love that.
that, that was our day for the day.
I love that. Yeah, fall is my favorite time. Like, I feel like summer is my antagonist or like the antithesis of who I am as a person because it's like it's hard to breathe. Like my allergies are all out of whack. Like I'm the Grinch in summer, but then I'm
Yeah.
like in the fall and
Oh, you
winter.
know what you should do? You should try in the summer when it's really hot, like when it's really, really hot and you're dying of allergies and you step outside and the humidity is just killing you. Put a parka on and a nice scarf and some gloves and then just act cold. It's so fun. Uh,
Talk about that though, because y'all are the real
your
MVP
friends over
doing
at
that.
Hallmark do that. You know, I'm glad we don't shoot them in Toronto because it is hot. It's the humidity here is so intense. I mean, some do get shot in Ontario, up in North Bay and stuff like that. Maybe
Hmm.
some out in Hamilton. It's interesting. I've never shot one here. I always seem to go back to Vancouver.
Mm,
And Vancouver summers are the best because you still get the breeze off the ocean. It's not too
mm,
hot, but the sun is out. It's like a dry heat. Some days can be really hot. And of course, once you're kind of out in Langley, where we shoot, or Abbotsford, it gets hotter out there. And on top of that, especially the last few years, this year wasn't bad, but the wildfires and the smoke that comes in. So,
mm,
like falling for Vermont was an interesting one because I remember we shot in Agassiz, the small town, and 2 weeks before they had gone out to scout the location. Beautiful small town. This will be the main street. The main street, you can see the mountains in the background, so that the DP's there and the director's there, and they're kind of imagining they're already starting to like set up shots for us walking down and be able what they're going to see in the background, a gazebo they have to build and all that.
mhm.
We roll in day one. Wildfires are crazy. You can hardly see 10 feet in front of you. We could have been anywhere. So we've now all driven about, like, we've now chosen this location, and it's probably an hour and a half out of Vancouver. Everybody staying in a small town in Chilliwack in hotels and shuttling out there. And it's like, the production value of being out there and seeing the mountains in the small town were totally lost because of the fires. So
Wow.
they had to use these stock images. And then that's actually where we filmed this year's movie, Long Lost Christmas. And sure enough, a day before we went out, the fires came, and luckily it kind of blew up from the south. It was a fire in Washington. It was only 2 days, and then it was gone. So luckily, it didn't affect our shooting at all.
So when is your book coming out? Because the last time you were here, you had these amazing stories about like filming, and now we get this. You need to catalog this somewhere, a blog,
I'm
a book.
cataloging it with you. This is it.
This
This
is
is the
it.
cataloging of it. I can go back and refer to things that I've said.
So speaking of going back, could you go back to that time where you shot your first Hallmark Christmas movie and what that feeling was like for you?
Um, what was my first one was with Rachel Lee Cook. I think it was
The
Blue Ridge Mountain
Blue
Christmas.
Ridge Mountain Christmas.
Blue Ridge Mountain Christmas, yeah. Uh, yeah, it's interesting. I remember being up for a couple and just scheduling It didn't work for like 3 years leading up to it. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I didn't realize until I was kind of in this world how big the Christmas season is. I feel like it's
Yeah.
the Christmas season and then some other great movies that happen throughout the year. But this is like the crux of the thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, so I didn't realize kind of what I was missing out on until I got into it, and I love it. That movie came about. I was at one of the upfront in LA, the Hallmark upfront, and the producer came up to me and said, "Ben, we got a Christmas movie. What do you do with Rachel Lee Cook?" And I was like, "I love Rachel. Rachel and I are friends." And I went over and I saw her like 2 seconds later. She goes, "They want us to do a Christmas movie," and just like that, that's kind of how that one happened. A month later, we're
Wow.
filming in Vancouver. Yeah, that was awesome.
Whoa. Now that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it was really cool. Jim Head I had not met before, and he just he for whatever reason they had thought of me and thought it would be a good pairing. And Rachel and I had known each other for a very long time. The hard part about that was there was an original script they sent, and it changed a lot from our shooting script.
Oh.
Uh, and they just sort of pulled a lot of the conflict out. It had a much more interesting spin. The original version of it, they didn't. They thought it was maybe um, I don't know what, too dark, or I don't know what it was in
Mm.
particular they didn't like about it, but they kind of sanded it down to a place where the conflict was, will he rent out the cabin to her or not? And that was kind of it, like there wasn't a lot going on, but it was one of those experiences that was fun because the house was amazing, the location was great. Rachel and I would shuttle in every day. We would have a little glass of wine at night to kind of celebrate, and we'd kind of run our lines for the next day. And David Winning directed it, who also directed Falling for Vermont. So I kind of had experience with him before. Yeah, it was a great experience, great first experience to have in the Christmas realm.
Yeah, and you've done quite a few of these Christmas movies already, and because like Hallmark tries to give you that kind of magical Christmas cozy feel, how do I want to articulate this? I guess on you filming it, do you find that there's a certain secret sauce or je ne sais quoi that, if you will, that you feel each time that you feel it because it's Christmas, especially as someone who's done non-holiday movies? Like, do you feel that there's something that you always feel every time you shoot a Hallmark Christmas movie that you've seen across over the years?
Do you mean if there's a specific feeling I have once I'm in that world?
Yeah, because I remember hearing of another actor saying like when the trees come out and the fake snow, even though it's even though it's fake, like it's still like it's a different feeling you get shooting a Christmas movie as opposed to a
For sure,
non-holiday.
it's true because sensorially we're all. I mean, I look at it and there's a door. My 10-year-old on our walk to school today. She's like, "What are you doing today?" And I was telling her, "This, this. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to come home. We got an interview with you." And she said, "What are you guys talking about?" I said, "Well, Long Lost Christmas, the Christmas movie's starting to air already. They started to air last week." And she said, "What? It's not even this. We're just getting over Halloween." And then she goes, "But I guess I understand it because there's a real," she goes, "I just love the warmth and the feeling of Christmas. I can't sleep the night before, the smells and like she was picking up on it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's baked into all of us at a very young age, the warmth and magic of Christmas. And as easy as it is to be like it's hot out and whatever's kind of going on as we're filming it, every time you walk into that set, it just you're brought back to that feeling, and you're transported 4 months, 5, 6 months into the future of when it's going to be Christmas, and you can really feel it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be around all those props. And this film in particular, they did such an incredible. Every time I walked in, I was like applauding our set deck. They did such an incredible job. Everything is on the screen, and our little Christmas town fair is just unbelievable. It just felt so magical.
We get a town
Yeah.
fair? Oh, that's exciting. I'm
Oh,
excited
and
about
this
the
is
town
cool.
fair.
This is cool from a technical aspect. This is interesting. So it's we shoot there. We had a couple days worth of stuff to film there. So in order to do that at night, you'd have to shoot it at night, and you can't control weather, and there's so many things you can't control. So we ended up. Director had this great idea to shoot it inside. There was like an empty, massive. It's not really a barn. I think it was an old ice rink. So really high
Mm.
ceilings, almost like a studio, blacked it all out at the top, and it looks like it's all outdoors, but it's the whole thing. It takes place inside, and it was done so well. And we spent 2 days in there. It was hot, sweaty, but magical and beautiful.
It's the comma but it's
It is.
magical and beautiful.
But I gotta tell you though, because we shot. I mean, maybe you saw this for the videos where we were shooting in Harrison Hot Springs, and it was like camp. We all stayed there for, I think it was just over 2.5 weeks. This one resort that had these natural hot springs on this beautiful lake. On the weekends, Taylor and I and Cameron, her husband, would rent a boat and go cruise around. We'd go floating. We'd go for dinners. Like it was a much different experience than any other Hallmark ones because we were all crew as well, staying at this one hotel. So
Mm.
it really started to feel like family. And the interesting thing about this small town is they have these statues everywhere of Sasquatch, Bigfoot. So yeah, there you go. I was waiting for you to take a sip of water before I tell you this. I was like, when is she going for the water so I can bring up my Sasquatch story?
I wasn't expecting that.
They're everywhere. So there's some folklore about, and one of them is called Sasquatch Mountain. Okay, so there are just these like statues of Sasquatch around in this quaint little small town. The town itself very much looks like a little Hallmark town. Really nice little restaurants right on the water, and then these statues. So one morning I go out to go grab a coffee, and I'm standing in line, and in front of me are these three guys in full tactical gear, and they've got like night vision goggles and like sprays and stuff. And I'm thinking, gentlemen, what are you guys doing? What are you? And he turns around, this big burly guy. He looks at me. He's just like, "We're here to hunt Sasquatch."
They were full
Wow.
on
Okay.
serious.
They were full on serious, here to get their latte first, but go out there and try to find just.
Oh my
And that
goodness.
wasn't the first time. And then it happened again. I'm like, man, like you really think this is where they are? Like they're going to be at Sasquatch Mountain because it's the name of the mountain. Like you guys. Anyway, it was amazing, and it does actually. You think that they're crazy, and then that day we were out on the boat, and you're looking around. You're like, I mean, if I was Sasquatch, this is probably where I'd hang out. Like this place is beautiful. That rock cliff looks impossible to get up. I'd be tucked underneath there.
Oh
So
my
it had that weird kind of magical vibe going on, as well. Long lost Sasquatch Christmas.
It definitely looked like you guys had so much fun though, like just following you guys on social with the like going up behind people and surprising them when they saw that
Um,
you guys were filming.
so this so I remember two things. So on Family Law, Jewel State, she's the lead of it, along with Victor Garber and Lauren Hawley, and she says to me, she's like, "Your videos are so funny. You should be on TikTok." I was like, "I don't have time for another social media platform thing." She goes, "Just do it. It's fun." So I signed up, and I kind of had like 2 or 3 videos on. And that day, we were shooting outside, and there was, so first of all, so many Hallmark fans in the small town. I just don't think we were really anticipating it. I just didn't know. It was like Hallmark Mecca. A lot of people come up from the U.S., so a lot of people in Washington and stuff just know Hallmark really well, and they were there on
Wow.
vacation. And then a lot of people who live in and around the area. So there were a lot of Hallmark fans. But this was on the second day we were filming, and somebody had said, "Oh, somebody just walked by and saw Taylor and was freaking out, wanted to get a picture with it." I was like, "Oh, that's so great." An hour later, I get broken for lunch. They're still filming this scene, so I walk around the street, and I just saw like 3 or 4 people standing there watching the set. And I was going to joke and just go up and be like, "Oh, what are they filming?" And I was like, I'm going to film them and say it. So this can go one of 2 ways. They're going to say, "Oh, it's a Hallmark movie," and I'll say who's in it, and they'll be like, "I don't know," and they'll be looking at me. That's kind of what I was expecting. They'll be like some guy, and I'll be like, "Oh, I hope it does well," and then I'd walk away, and then it'd be my own little joke. But instead, she turns around, she goes, "It's a Hallmark movie," and "Oh my, it's you!" And she has this. It was so brilliant. And then the husband's like, "Yeah." And I kind of turned it off because then I felt self-conscious that they recognized me and I had a camera on them. And he's like, "We watch all your movies, The Chronicle Mysteries, Falling for Vermont." He starts rattling them off. He just had them up. Like, he didn't even,
Wow.
it's not like he opened IMDb in that moment. They were amazing. And so then I posted to TikTok the next day. And I think it's had like at that point, maybe like I get like 100 views or something like that. It like broke. It had like it's got like 4 million, and it's got like 5 million on Instagram, and it's got like 10 million in total all over the place. So it became this huge thing. And then I started laughing. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could just capture that again. And then there was this other couple that just happened to be sitting at a restaurant. They could take a photo, and then they went back to their table and they were explaining how they just met me. And I just walked by. I was like, I'm just going to record it. They'd all had a few drinks. They were there for some fun family reunion, and then they were like, "It's you!" It was. I was literally walking around chest cam, just trying to capture reactions. It turned into something I didn't anticipate, but it was very, very, very cute, and I've since reached out to them, and they were a little embarrassed by it, but they love it.
And I think that
Yeah,
makes us as viewers even more excited about the movie, knowing that you guys are having fun as you're filming. So, and we got to see a little of like a small trailer just released of it, so we kind of have an idea. But could you shed light on exactly what Long Lost Christmas is about and the character you play in it?
yeah. Just give me a sec. So, hoping to reunite with her mother, with her long lost brother for Christmas. So,
Oh god, I snorted. Oh, that
what
was
has
great.
Blake said? Haley, there it is. No, first of all, first of all, I want to say I wasn't in Taylor Cole orbit before, and she is amazing. We had so much fun making this. We joke that it's in our rider now that we'll only work with each other. So it's like I'll only take the project if she's in it, which works really well for me because she works more than I do. So we will end up doing more of the. um, we had so much fun. I have not laughed this much making a film, and I think what I love about this one is there are two stories going on. One, which is where she is at home with her mom, and they've recently lost. She lost her dad, her mom, her husband, and it's the first Christmas without him. And he was the one who would kind of decorate all the time, and they kind of feel like she's just not feeling it this year to decorate, and the mom kind of eventually, as it gets closer, decides to start decorating and stuff like that. And in cleaning some boxes, Taylor's character finds this photo of her mom and what she thinks might be a friend of hers, and they've got like no extended family, and it finds out that there's potential that there's a brother out there somewhere, and that there is like an uncle for her, and there's like this family, and she's like now intrigued. Well, I want to go find him if he's there. So she goes to this small town, which is where I am, and we work at this place that build log cabins. And when she arrives, she's kind of there to figure out, might this be the guy? Because there are a few different ones that it could be. And she's trying to
Mhm.
figure out which guy is the uncle potentially to bring kind of get more family and bring this family together. And through that, she discovers, well, maybe there's a sister, maybe there's all this other extended
Mm,
family. And it's
mhm.
kind of what they've always wanted, is to have more family for Christmas. So there's that storyline. And then there's the storyline of us kind of meeting, and that. And we sort of that's I think it kind of happened organically, and I wonder how it will cut together, because I feel like there's the Hallmark movies of mystery story of finding the dad, and then
Mm,
there's the
mhm.
Hallmark comedy of us. We just had so much fun in every scene, and even maybe some of the scenes that were meant to be more dramatic. Let's just have fun with them, and we just kind of, I think we wanted to try to find a balance so it didn't feel too heavy, but it had all the elements of still Hallmark movies and mysteries, because our relationship in particular um, felt strained if we played it as it was on the page. It felt
Mm.
like we were trying to find stakes maybe where there weren't any. So we just had a lot of fun in those scenes, like a lot of fun. So I'm excited for everybody to get to see it. I'm excited to see it myself. I did ADR a little while ago, and it turned out, from what I saw, really well. But I haven't seen a version of it yet. You've probably seen it. Was it good? They send
I,
you all the versions,
you
right?
you know I ain't got no juice. I have no stock, no vegetable stock, no beef stock, nothing. I got nothing. But if you could, so I talked with Andrew because Andrew Walker, he had a Hallmark Movies and Mystery movie coming on as well, and so I've what's that word, instituted what's called the tissue box rating for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, because around
Okay.
Christmas time, all of their
Mm-hmm.
movies, especially last year, I did not watch one where I did not cry. And so I need you to tell us up front, how many tissue boxes am I going to need next to me with this movie? One, two travel packs, a 4 pack of like
Ooh,
regular
I like
standard
that.
box. Like what kind of how many
Or just one roll of toilet paper. Like no,
okay,
you're just there like wiping and throwing and wiping and throwing.
wiping and
I
throwing,
think
yeah.
I think we have a really good balance, of both.
Mm.
And I think the tissues are also going to be from the tears rolling down of laughter. So I'm
Ah,
talking, we got a little bit of
okay.
both. I'm hoping for both. I'm really hoping for both. One thing I love is we've got a couple actors that haven't done a lot of Hallmark before. One in particular, Grant Blahovic is his name, and he brings this incredible performance to this character and really grounds him. And it was I was nervous going into it because I knew that whoever was cast was going to have a difficult task of playing this kind of stoic sort of Jeff Bridges kind of
Mm,
does not show emotion, hard love kind of guy.
hmm.
And it made I could cry just thinking about it. Any time those kinds of characters that are like my dad that would never show emotion crack, I'm done.
Mm,
So hard men that then begin to show emotion, I'm like, and
that's it.
he
Yeah.
gets there right when he needs to. He's great in it. As is the whole cast, but that role in particular really required, and he nailed it. And I think it's what will kind of draw some of the tears out is that relationship with the sister and the two of them finding each other. Um, is emotional and beautiful. And I think what I love is that it came from a book, so there was a lot of material to pull from, and I think that we did a really good job kind of getting everything that was most important from the book onto the screen.
Do you see your character in the movie paralleling well with the character of the book?
Yes and no. The book, as you all will read, has a lot more. There's more
Sure.
line kind of and manipulation kind of happening, which we
Oh,
didn't bring, and it was like let's not kind of
interesting.
do those types of things and find
Okay.
other reasons for his conflict. Um, yeah. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of it's the same, but we decided to make things a little different as well from the book.
Sure.
We kind of had to, yeah, yeah.
Sure. And it's interesting that you mentioned comedy with Hallmark movies and mysteries because even in the movie you did, Color My World with Love, I was expecting, like, I had a box of tissues right next to me, but and I didn't need it. Like, I smiled more than I thought I was going to. And I feel like maybe we're going to get that same thing with this. Like, while we're there, there'll be some heartfelt moments, we'll probably still come away with some cheer and some merriment like Hallmark Christmas movies give us.
I don't think it's not a sad movie. We're
Okay.
not pulling on heartstrings. You're going to walk away with the same feeling that you love about Christmas, which is the warm fuzzies. To me, this is a
Mm.
very warm fuzzy movie. And it looks so good. And like I said, the story was already there. So it's more warm fuzzies. You're going to be glowing, you're going to be glowing. Yeah.
What was your like the most wild because you always have stories. So like what was the most and I know you talked about the wildfires earlier, but like what was the most wild scene that you shot for this movie? Or was there
Oh
like a
man.
wild
Yeah. Well, no, of course, there had to have been. There always are. Um, well, I remember. Okay, I'll give you a couple here. So the kiss scene, right there it is. This scene. We've got like 10 minutes left, so you guys get two takes. Go, and it was like so. You would literally do the scene, go back and do it again. We wouldn't even cut. We had to go, but we were on the highway. So the beautiful house, but it's literally just off like a major road. So it's like, so we're in the scene and we're looking at each other and it's that moment and there it is and as I'm talking or she's talking it's like right behind, so it's just stop, hold her look, and you're clear, go back into it, wait a second, go back, pick that up, go through. So it cut together brilliantly, but I'll tell you that was a challenge
Wow.
due to the fact that there was stress because we had to get it.
Right.
And I'm also looking at her going, oh, we got a hair issue here. I'll just take care of that. I won't have to wait for them to come off and things. She's like, you got a sparkle above your eye from the earlier scene, like whatever. Uh, a lot going on. And it was a fun challenge. We did a great one outside where we're watching a meteor shower, and it was
Ooh.
fun because it was near the hotel. So at that point, everybody knew we were in town, and then it became like a live performance. So I'd say there was like 60 people that have now come out to watch it, and they're filming it. And between takes, we're running up and taking photos with them, and they're like, "Thank you so
Oh.
much." And it was fun because it felt and of course we'd go back and you film that scene. It was a very long scene. We did it so many times. And we would yell to them, "It's not as fun as it looks, actually, right? It's quite boring. Why are you guys filming it so many times? Why don't you guys just get it right the first time?" Uh, that was a lot of fun getting to interact with some fans and for them to experience watching it. And it was kind of a very magical scene too. It was like right on the water. Um, yeah, those are the ones that come to mind off the top of my head. But every single one, every scene was so fun to make on this one. I didn't. There were no like, just didn't dread any scenes or I had a lot of fun. And I also, the number twos don't normally say this, the guys, but we get a great schedule. So the number ones are in every single day. They're shooting 15 out of 15 days. The guys are like 11. So you get a couple of days off, 12 maybe. You get those few days off. So Cameron and I would go golfing. My joke was I would go golfing with Cameron. And then every once in a while on my day off, my golfing day, I had to shoot Long Lost Christmas.
I love that.
But it was awesome because we really that's never really happened where I've been working with my co-leads and her partners there that I then become friends with and hang out with. And
Yeah.
so we would all do dinners. I would go to their place to do laundry because they rented a little Airbnb, like one apartment block over. They wanted a bigger kitchen and stuff like that because it was the two of them. And so I'd go there, do laundry. They'd be like, we're doing dinner tonight. You want us to come to our place?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go to their place."
I love that. I can't wait to
Great.
see how that translates on screen between you and Taylor. And that was one thing I was most excited about because when the schedule came out and I was doing my little look-see and I saw Benjamin Ayres and Taylor Cole, I literally yelped. I said, I don't know. I
Awesome.
didn't know this was the pairing that I needed. I didn't even know we hadn't had it yet until I saw it. And I said, I'm looking forward to it. This is really one of my most anticipated movies for this year. I'm really excited about it.
And I'm assuming your other one also airs on our same night on the Hallmark Channel.
What a oh the three
It's a little one called Three Wise Men and a
three
Baby.
wise you
It's
said
good and a baby. It's a big night for Hallmark. It's like back to back. It's like a night of who's opening for. It's like Coldplay and U2 one night in a big stadium.
that whole weekend
Who's
is stacked.
Coldplay?
It's because Tamara's movie comes on Friday night. And then we
Yeah.
got the Three Wise Men, and then it's y'all, and then it's Now Mater on Sunday. And I'm gonna need
Holy moly!
it's
What a
like
weekend.
it's stacked. It's stacked. So nobody talked to me during that whole week. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But is there scene in particular that you would want the viewers to look out for that may have an Easter egg or that may be I don't know, just something fun that we can look out for as we watch the movie?
Okay, I'm going to give you a real fun behind the scenes tidbit here. The movies move really really fast, as you know, and everybody was on top of their game in this. And there was a moment. Uh, I'm going to tell it. I'm a part of me like, should I tell it? It doesn't really matter because you got to wear your jackets and your mitts and your gloves and your toques and all your stuff. Okay? Beanie, whatever you guys call it. And we were
Yeah,
the
we call
Canadian
it
thing, I guess.
beanies.
Right? So, well, sort of like this. So your name is Dara. Has anybody ever called you Dara?
All the time.
All the time. And I bet
All the
it's
time.
Canadians that call you Dara.
I it's not just Canadians, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it would be because there's so one of the characters in the movie's name is Brianna, Brianna.
Hmm.
But Canadians would call that Brianna.
Oh,
So on day one, we're kind of doing it. I was like, wait, is this Brianna or Brianna? And we're like, Brianna. But like, you got to get that out. Otherwise, some people are going to be saying, because it's mostly Canadian cast, and, they'll be, everybody was saying Brianna.
yeah.
And then you have to ADR it. So like, you don't want people to be saying the name wrong, or at least that we're all, not that it's wrong, but just that we're all on the same page, right? Because it's easy to say Brianna when you're used to saying Brianna, not Brianna.
Right.
Um, So I tell that story why. Anyway, that's interesting. So there's that story. Now, what I was going to say, the, here's something. So on the first day, we're walking back from somewhere in the story where I don't have my winter coat on. Now, in the next scene, they're like, "Oh, wait, you should have your winter coat on." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I didn't have it in the last little walk and talk scene." And now we're like, "Oh, right, you didn't have it on." Well, it wouldn't make sense that you don't have it on in this scene. Well, okay, but we've already established I don't. So how does it magically appear? You're right. Okay, so now we're into the next scene after that. We're filming that 2 days later. So we're going to put the jacket on. Great. Wait, how do I have my jacket on? Well, I don't know. You would have had it on. I know, but I've come from here to here. Did I get into my truck, put a jacket on, and then step out of the truck with it on? But I didn't have it on before. So there was a real watch for the jacket, because the jacket was a fun thing. All right. It was on, it was off. We had to find reasons. I'm holding it when I should be wearing it, but it made sense that we then used it to warm Taylor's character when we're sitting down by the lake. And it became more of a continuity puzzle than the movie itself at times. it was like, what is this scene? What's this scene about? This scene is about trying to figure out how that jacket gets on you, where it came from, and where it's going.
That's the long lost Christmas is the jacket. It's the long lost jacket. Where
It
is the
is a
jacket?
long lost jacket Christmas. So that kind of stuff's fun, and it won't bump for anybody else other than me. So like that's what's hard for us to watch these, because I'm just remembering the day. Like I'm gonna watch
Hmm.
one scene and be like,
Hmm.
that's the day I saw the guys going to hunt Sasquatch. That's what I'll remember about the scene. um, yeah. So there you go. There's some stuff.
So, whether in the book or in the movie, is there a personal connection that you were able to make to either your character or a plot point in the story? Because I know you mentioned, and in all books, the books always go more in depth than the Hallmark
Yeah,
movies
of
are
course.
able to. So were you able to find a personal connection at all to your character, whether through the book or in the movie or at a certain point in the story?
Yes, of course. I mean, in particular, I always play this game. What if I'm not acting? So I play two versions of the game. What would I have been if I didn't decide to become an actor? And what would happen if I couldn't act anymore and I had to find something else to do?
Hmm.
And it's so they're big questions. And this character in particular has gone through a situation where he's a bit later in his life, after kind of like he moved to Chicago. He was there for a while. He went to school. He got a job. Had met this great woman, and she ended up, betraying their love. And then he kind of came back to the town that he kind of grew up, but had left a long time ago, and has to kind of find who he is without her after what happened, and kind of move forward, but also maybe find a new passion, whatever that is. And for him, it's going to be this business. And he's got real business acumen, as well as being able to work with his hands. And I just found that super interesting, and enjoyed kind of putting myself in that situation and position. Uh, and I think it worked. Yeah, it worked well for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So I've been asking this of most of my guests, if not all already. because we get a lot of eyes on Hallmark channels specifically at Christmas who normally don't watch it throughout the rest of the year. And even some new people who have never watched Hallmark at all. And they just decide, because of everything that's been going on in the world, they just want some feel good. So, what would you say to that person who may be coming to Hallmark for the first time this Christmas season and they're watching your movie? What would you say that they could grasp or they could glean from your movie?
Well, I think I love the idea that people are discovering Hallmark for the first time, because from the outside, it's easy to maybe just look at the posters, or just kind of judge and have an idea of what you think the movies are. I
Mhm.
don't know if you saw, there was this meme on Instagram yesterday. It was like, it was literally all, it was like, I think there was like 24 photos, all of these posters, and all the men had green shirts on and all the women had red jackets. And it was just all the different movies from like the past 7 years kind of put together, right? And it literally says Hallmark, chill out, with the same looking. And then the post was they're all the same movie. And anyway, I made some comment like, and I star in all of them, and did it. But like from the outside, it's easy to make fun of it, and it's not until you kind of go to your inner child, as Isadora said today, that there's a warmth and a fuzziness that just is wrapped around Christmas, literally and figuratively, that I think is inevitable to open up inside of you when you watch these movies. And it just takes you back, and there's a comfort in knowing that you're going to be moved, and it's going to feel good to be moved. Um, and and that there's it's just fun to go on those journeys, and it's and I know, and I'm so happy that we get to keep telling those stories, like that Hallmark is really very much created the star system within itself,
Yeah.
and it's become like this old school studio system where it's like, now you two are matched up, it's like you're kind of playing the same guy, but your hair's a little different, or
Yeah.
it's like, no, it's just the jacket's different, but there's a real comfort, and I really hear
Yes.
that from the fans. There's
Yeah.
a comfort in seeing the actors you love get to tell a different story with
Yes.
another actor that you love.
Yep.
And as much as it's awesome to see new actors come in, there still is, they're like, oh, I can't wait to see them more, but please let us keep seeing the ones we love as well,
Exactly.
and I think, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
um, and I just, I love being a part of it, and having these conversations with you, and everybody.
I call it like it feels like a small town in a sense because it's like all of our usual suspects. Like it wouldn't be Christmas without a Benjamin Ayres movie or a Taylor Cole movie or an Andrew Walker movie or a Kimberly Sested movie or what have you. So I know that like you said it perfectly. That's what adds to that warmth is that we're seeing familiar faces and we're seeing the people that we know and love make movies that we love every year. So it's a treat on our end as well.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
Mr. Ayres, I want to say thank you for gracing us with your presence here at the home of Dear Hallmark. It has been a pleasure. But
Absolute pleasure, darling.
yes, but before I let you go, I want you, this is your moment to just say like whatever it is you want to say, whether it's about Long Lost Christmas, the book, or the movie, Hallmark in general, encouraging words, Christmas, time is here. Whatever you want to say, it's your moment to have.
I just want to say everything you just said. Everybody, Hallmark. No, I mean, I'm happy to be here, and I'm so grateful to the fans. And oh, actually, you know what? Speaking of which, uh, we all signed this book. All right, this is the book that I read. It's got all my little markings in it and stuff like that. And we've all signed it. I got the cast to sign it, and I'm going to do a little giveaway. First of all, this is what I want to say. I want everybody to go and find Joan Kilby's book. And this is everybody's homework because it's book club, right? You
Yes.
got to go find this book. It's on your Amazons, it's at your bookstores, or wherever you can get it. Go to her website and read it before the movie. And then we can talk about afterwards how, what differs from the two. Um, and also, or watch the movie first, because sometimes it's hard when you've read the book, and then you're waiting for
Mm-hmm.
that moment. So maybe watch the
Mm-hmm.
movie, then read the book. And I'm going to do a little giveaway for this. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, but I'll probably do it
Ooh.
on that day, or the next day. So I want to give this out to somebody. And I'm thankful for everybody out there who watches and reaches out to us. And there's it feels good to be part of this community and inside this small town. It's a lot of us left a small town to move to a big city, so it's nice to be in a small town in a big city.
Yes, I just want to add a PS. So I actually I run a book club based off that. We read the books that Hallmark movies are based off of. So this would
Okay,
be perfect for the book club. So
nice.
this would be a perfect pick for it. That would be awesome
Oh,
to
that's
read.
great.
Yes,
Great.
indeed.
Also, this was my wrap gift from Erica Durant's on Color
Oh,
My World with Love, and I still drink from this every. It's a log, but it's got a hole in it. It's water.
it's a log with a hole in it. Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
what's fun.
Well,
Also, what
Benjamin,
do you think of the curly hair?
I can dig it. I can wait
Yeah, a
because you
little
did
perm.
that if I think I saw it quickly, like you did a little 80s situation, like you had a little mullet situation
I
going
did an
on.
'80s situation, yeah, but that's not like they. I've tried a couple times with curly hair, and they're like, nope. So it's usually straight. Well, it has been on all my Hallmark movies.
I
They're
dig
like,
the
well, it's
curly.
straight.
I say why not?
Let's try it. Why
Why
not? Maybe
not?
the next guy's curly.
Maybe. Maybe.
All right.
Well, sir, thank you so
All
much.
right. Sasquatch chats with Benjamin Ayres. Here we go. It's been
This
an absolute pleasure. I can't wait for you all to watch the movie Long Lost Sasquatches. Here we go.
bye, you guys.
Bye bye.